I think that we can finish up here, but I think what happened for me is I was so overwhelmed. I wanted to say this earlier. I was so overwhelmed by what was happening, and the federal government can't hear me with my protest sign, but the city council can hear me when I go in there, and they all know my name. The mayor of Wichita knows my name. She'd know my face if I was walking down the street, right? She'd probably cross it. But I'm just saying, like, they can hear you at the local level. They can hear you at the county level. And so I was like, this is too much. What's going on up here is too much, and there's not really anything because it would happen. I'd be like, what can I do about it, right? But then I started looking, you just look at your surroundings. This is like something they told me in therapy, if I'm getting stressed out, you just focus on your surroundings. So that's what I did. I just focused on Wichita, where I was living at the time. And then I kind of got that under my head, and I was like, well, I can focus on the state. And then my daughter moved to Topeka, so I moved to Topeka, and I was like, well, now I can focus on the state. And so, if you just focus on your local, whatever, pick one. If it's the school board you care about, just focus on the school board. If it's the city council you care about, just focus on that. And just pick something that really means something to you, that's going to motivate you to care. There's a lady in Wichita that her whole thing is the animal shelter. And there's nefarious things going on over there, but that's her thing. It's all about the animals. And so there's ways that people can make a difference that are just like micro, like they're smaller. It's easier to take a bite out of the political process at the local level. Even if you're in a city the size of Wichita.
Well, and that teaches you how things scale. And because all these governments here that you have, each taxing district is basically a Russian nesting doll. So you have the federal government being the biggest one, it's going to tax you. Then you have your state, that's going to tax you. Then you have your county, that's going to tax you. Then you have your hospital district, you have your
CIDs
school district,
for
you
special
have your,
things, and
all of that. And so all of those are just little nesting dolls, right? That structure can cause different kinds of problems, and we're seeing that with the property tax problem right now. One of the ways that we can think about that is, okay, if our currency comes from the federal government and the state is a currency user, then what can the state be doing differently to raise revenues that doesn't require us to pay taxes to them? And a permanent fund is a really good idea. Norway does this. There's a couple counties in the United States. I want to say there's it's not a statewide fund, but it's like a county-wide fund. I want to say it was like in South Dakota or something. Don't quote me on where that's at, but I have notes on it. But basically, a lawsuit against a coal mine there made it possible for that county to invest its natural resource money into a permanent fund, and pays back a predictable distribution to that county. So they can afford public things now because it's properly invested. It's a new revenue source that doesn't require taxing. So
they can do it there.
Yeah, exactly. If they can do it there, why can't we do it at the statewide level? If they can do it in Norway, which makes sense, they're part of the EU and all of that. Again, makes sense. They can make more money. Then I think that provides us with more democratic accountability, because we put people on a permanent fund board or whatnot, make sure they're elected, and then make sure that our local communities can invest in that thing. If the state provides the initial fund, the state can draw something down. Why can't all these other little nesting dolls be able to draw something down? It's not going to eliminate our taxes entirely, but it's something that can lower.
I wouldn't mind paying all the taxes if I was getting health care and I didn't have to worry about college education, and I was getting something back for them. But like I said, they cut, and then we don't get anything. What are we paying for? Just give me my money and let me put it all invested in the community. And so, which is kind of a libertarian view.
Well, and it goes back to that individualism, right? Like, the problem is that we can't live as individuals, Then we just get super isolated and depressed. And
we have the breakdown, like the child care issue. We used to have, you would have other generations helping with the younger generations. And I live with my daughter and help take care of my grandsons. So we're kind of keeping that in our family. But that is, they want us isolated. They want us separate, because it's easier for us to, they make more money if we have two houses and then we have two things we're buying stuff for. So they've done that on purpose to separate the structure of the family that gives us the layers of protection when we lose our job, that help us take care of our kids. And because it's too much for one, like even a mom and a dad to take care of two kids, whether they're, like my grandsons are autistic, but even average children, it's a lot. And you're supposed to have aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents and all these other people around to help you, and we're all just so separated now.
Completely. And I think
on purpose.
I very much feel that this is purposeful. And then you have all these activities and things that keep you from being able to see your family and be with other people and build friendships and appropriate social connections, right? And you can never, ever have a moment where you're not working.
Yeah.
And that's rough, especially out here. Like you open a new small business, if you don't have revenue or savings or inherited wealth in order to be able to do that and take a hit for a few years, you're not going to be viable out here. Like that's just the way it's going to be. So the question is how do you scale, and how do you make time then for your kids? How do you make time for yourself so that you can recover once?
Or just even have a small farm.
Yeah.
It's just 24/7 work.
Yeah.